You do. Yes. Well, we're going to do our thing right now because we have Adolph Thomas on the line here, and I was told, Adolph, that you sing that song with your band.
Yes, that's one of the throwbacks, regular songs that we do when we out there engaging audiences.
I'm going to move this mic over so you don't look like Pinocchio.
Okay.
All right. And we also have Sheila Cuffey here. Sheila, I'm going to bring your camera up here. Make sure, yeah, you look pretty good that way. Pull this over here like that.
This is live television, folks, on YouTube, on the Gilbert Bays channel, and also on Facebook Live, Gilbert Bays Live.
Well, we want to make sure people have headroom, and we want to make sure that people are looking right here. And I bring up all three of us right now.
That's right.
And Adolph, I know you from the Retired Military Association, your band and everything. What's the name of your band?
The Throwback Collaboration Band.
All right, but that's not why we're here.
Right.
We're here because, look, I don't have any headroom.
Uh-oh.
I was looking up, my head was cut off on my own TV shot.
I love the name of his band, though, because I thought of the initials TCB.
That's right.
There you go.
Taking care of business.
That's it. Well, look, the two of you are here actually because of the Shaw Alumni Association scholarship banquet that happens every year. This is going to be happening in June. And who's going to be the first TV spokesmodel to tell us something about this?
Well, I'm Sheila Cuffey. I'm the chair this year. They sprung it on me. I was voluntold.
You have her mic turned up as high as you can give her?
Oh, I can show a little high.
Yeah, because that's not...
Yeah. So I was voluntold. They called me and they asked, but they were telling me at the same time that this was what I was going to do, and I take it as an honor. We will be celebrating our 26th annual banquet. This will be June. We'll be hanging out over at Fuller Recreation Center. We hope everyone will come out and join us because it's for a good cause. It's about supporting our youth. It's about making sure that they have the financial backing that they need to start their education off.
You know, and full disclosure here, when I set the podcast up, I always forget to put my microphone in off the board. So the audio that we heard initially was probably a little sketchy, but it should sound good right now. So just reiterate again what the banquet is all about, Sheila.
The banquet is a scholarship banquet, and the banquet is to help not only first-time students going off to college, those who are graduating from high school, but it's also to give back to Shaw University and help those who are currently enrolled in school. There are financial challenges that children are having. Look, I just graduated in 2025 from in the master's program for the Master's Art in Christian Leadership. And I know then that there were students who were still struggling. And so this is our way of giving back to Shaw University as an alumni association, a proud alumna that I am. I had several opportunities to go to Shaw University. In 1978, I went as a freshman out of high school and, finally got this degree in Masters of Christian Leadership.
Now, Adolph, what is your connection to the university?
Well, I'm a graduate of the year 2000. And so when I retired from the military here, I found an opportunity to continue my education, and I chose Shaw. And they had a campus here, right here in Fayetteville, and there was a great connection to the Raleigh campus. And so once I did that and saw what Shaw was all about and the history, I was locked in.
Is that the Shaw Bears? What it is the Shaw. How do I know that?
Shaw Bears.
Well, I remember the campus that was here on. Was it off of Ramsey? Off of
Country Club.
Country Club.
Club,
It was
yeah.
on Country Club, right?
Yeah.
And so you have this connection, and so there is a Fayetteville connection with the Alumni Association, and you're the guys that are putting this on. That's going to be taking place at the banquet center. Well, it's athletic center that's off Bunce Road. What's the name of it again?
Fuller,
yeah, Fuller. But why can I remember these things? My 70 years is catching up with me. I'm having senior moments. Yeah, it's the Fuller Recreation Center, and the banquet is going to be taking place when?
On June the 6th at 2 p.m.
And how can people get involved?
There's a couple of ways they can do that. One, of course, there's a phone number that you can call, but even more so, we now have a website that they can actually go to and even make their pledges. They can buy tables. They can donate to the scholarship, and that location is at www.shawuaf.com.
Now, the university itself has had some financial struggles in the past years.
Yes.
How are they doing now in terms of? I know people are making donations. Accreditation is in question sometimes. Where are we in terms of the university itself?
Well, as far as I know, some issues have been resolved, but all of the HBCUs right now could use a little help. And then when you give directly to Shaw University, you remember the United Negro College Fund?
Absolutely.
Well, it still
A mine is a terrible thing to
terrible
waste.
thing to waste. And so when you give directly to Shaw University, they will match those funds. And so we're asking people to help Shaw University and even other HBCUs by giving at this particular event.
You know, I remember when I was working for Channel 11, they did the Lou Rawls telethon.
Yes.
That was in conjunction with the United Negro College Fund.
Right. Mhm.
And we had a place down in Fayetteville. They would come to us in Fayetteville. And they had I mean, it was a big deal. That Lou Rawls was the national, and then it would come to local time, and folks would talk about the scholarship, and they raised an awful lot of money to help the HBCUs. I'm a graduate of one. I graduated from Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio. I went to Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania first as a pre-law student, and I transferred. And I said, I'm going to go to an HBCU, which was much more compatible with me growing up in Philadelphia. And went to a predominantly black Alumni High School was mixed, actually. But then by the time I graduated in my senior year, it was a good portion. It was almost 50-50 white and black. And so there's just something about being in your own culture, in your education, that is important. And I can make a clear distinction. When I was at Dickinson College, I had no interest whatsoever in ROTC. That's, there was no way. I transferred to Central State and started seeing people like me in uniforms involved with the program. And I said, I'm going to give this a try. Not only did I give it a try, I ended up being the battalion commander for my ROTC unit at Central State University. And so no HBCU, no Gilbert Bays like you know me today. No Ranger School, no involvement with the military, no being stationed at Fort Bragg. And so, you can talk about these events and these issues in a young person's life, but the amount of impact these HBCUs have had on a number of young folks across the country and around the world, for that matter, is just immeasurable. And so I'm sure there are many folks that could share the same story. Tell me your story, Adolph, in terms of Shaw and the impact it had on you.
Well, I can tell you, Gilbert, man, when I got out of the military and I started working for the city of Fayetteville, I ran into Miss Ellen McNeil, who was my supervisor in community development, and she asked that question and said, "What are you going to do next?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to go back to school, of course, and that kind of thing." And she said, "You need to look at Shaw." And so I did. And so when I took on Shaw, like I said, I found out about the history, found out about the campus up there, and then, of course, the camaraderie that we had on our Fayetteville campus and the instructors that was there. I was locked in, and I knew I was going to be dedicated to that. Of course, I did go on to UNCCP to, get my graduate degree, but I still stay firm with Shaw and belief that we need to support it.
And these stories are countless. We can find students and professionals right now in our community who graduated from Fayetteville State University, teachers, principals, and educators, lawyers, doctors, nurses. When you talk about Fayetteville State, but the important role of the HBCU just can't be discounted. Now, Sheila Cuffey, if you don't know Sheila Cuffey is involved in everything in the community. Are you running for something now, or you were elected to something?
So during the primary, I could say now that I am the county commissioner, District 1 elect for this area.
Even though we have the general election
We
coming,
still
because
have the
it's
general
not.
election coming in November. I will be on the ballot, but there, along with Glenn Adams, Commissioner Glenn Adams, and so we don't have anyone running against us, any opposition. So therefore, I'm considered the.
So you're a new
commissioner-elect.
county commissioner.
Yes.
And you will be there at some point. And that's why I don't mind having you on, because I don't have to give equal time to anybody because you have no opposition.
Right.
But
you know what? I'm not the only one from Shaw University. Larry Wright, former councilman,
Yeah.
graduate of Shaw University. We have people in our community. McCrae, Command Sergeant Major retired
That's right.
Robert McCrae, who was over the Fort Bragg EEO, was a graduate. Matter of fact, he graduated, I think, the year after you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember going
Yeah,
with
that's
him
right.
there.
I remember in class
and so
with him
there are a
too.
lot of people. The story about Willie Gary, that Jamie Foxx did on the movie, graduate, Shaw University. And so even SNCC, the Students for Nonviolence, remember that?
Sure I
Back
do,
in the
yes.
60s. So Ella Baker was a graduate of Shaw University who also established that, helped establish those students and became very popular and very effective for voting rights.
All right, we're going to hold you here because it's time for us to take a little break, but we're going to hold you over. See, when you come in early, you get a little extra time. And so, Adolph, Candy, you saw Adolph at the front door doing his thing?
No, I did not. You
we
let
forgot
him
to open the door. He was out there looking at his watch,
Yeah.
banging on the window. He was like this, doing one of these things like this.
My apologies.
Looking to see. But I saw him sitting right there. That's the neat thing about coming to the front door, that we're able to get you in here. But you guys stand by. We're going to hold you over here. Right now, we're going to take a look at Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsey.
After a cool start to our Tuesday morning, the rest of the day will be mainly sunny with a high of 73. Overnight will be mostly clear with a low of 48, and Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a high of 86. After a chilly morning, temperatures will quickly start to warm up by Wednesday, with highs returning to the 80s through the end of the week, but we don't have any chance for rain until this weekend. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Right now, as usual, the temperature was 47. The sun came up. Now the temperature goes down. 46 right now across the board in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also Spring Lake. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.
Fayetteville's first radio station, and still first in serving our community. News Talk 640 WFNC. Stream on iHeart anytime, anywhere. Just search WFNC.
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Planning a renovation, new deck, or even buying a fixer-upper? Before you start swinging hammers or sign on the dotted line, check if a permit is required. Getting the right permits keeps your project safe, legal, and on track. Whether it's for home improvement or commercial upgrade, your permitting team is here to help. Visit FayettevilleNC.gov/permits or give us a call at 910-433-1707.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The U.S. Treasury just released its official financial report for 2025. Buried in it is a startling admission. By its own numbers, it appears the U.S. government is insolvent. When governments go this deep in debt, they print money, raise taxes, or cut benefits, none of which can help protect you. That's why people move part of their savings into physical gold and silver. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Texting enroll enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Good morning, Fayetteville with Gilbert Bays on WFNZ News Talk 640 AM and now on 103.5 HD2.
News Talk 640 WFNC. Love that song. Spinners. It's a shame. Adolph, you sing that one too?
I don't do that, but now you just brought it to my head.
Yeah,
I'm making a little mental note over here.
Right there. It's a shame the way you mess around with your men. It's a shame the way you hurt me. All right. News Talk 640 WFNC. We're doing that and talking about that because we have two hats in here in terms of what Adolph does. He's a member of the Shaw Alumni Association, the Fayetteville branch or chapter, and also a member of which band?
Throwback Collaboration.
Watch out
band.
now. Watch out. All right, look, we've been talking about the fact that you've got a banquet that is coming up. It is a scholarship banquet for Shaw University. And we've talked about some of the background of the HBCUs and the importance that they've played in all of our lives. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a guest speaker. Who's going to tell me about your guest speaker?
So the guest speaker is going to be Dr. Terrence McCrimmon. He is the pastor of Mount Pisgah Missionary Baptist Church in Rayford, North Carolina. He has a background in education, a mighty powerful speaker. Our theme this year is going to be celebrating achievement, powering potential. And so we're looking forward to the message that he's going to deliver to our young people and the challenge that he's going to make to the adults.
You know, for me, like if you go to church, to get yourself a good pastor who has a good message, man, I tell you what, there's nothing more moving than that to get you ready for the rest of the week that's coming up.
Yes.
And so in this case here, you're going to have a powerful speaker, and that's important for your scholarship banquet that's going to be taking place June 6th. Now, it's not taking place June 6th. We're in April.
Yes.
And then we have all of May. And the reason, Adolph, you know, we talked about let's get in here and let's make this happen now is because we can't start too early looking for sponsors and looking for corporate sponsors in addition to individual donations. So talk about that. How could corporate sponsors be involved?
Well, for sure, for Fayetteville, Cumberland County, the many folks that are here, we want to impress upon them the fact that to be supporting our HBCUs and how they can play a part, and Shaw University in particular, we want to give them the time and the thought to be a part of this event, which a lot of them have over the years, and we really appreciate all that they have been doing over the years, and we hope they continue to come. We also know that there's a lot of Shaw graduates in this area that have not even become a part of the alumni, and we want to implore them to make a move to come join the event, come participate, meet the alumni that's here, and then become members. And so that way we can continue the legacy of Fayetteville support for Shaw University.
You know, you got to have pride in your university. I don't care if you went to NC State, UNC, Duke, or whatever it is, or Central State University, Shaw. You can be Aggies. No, it doesn't matter what you are. There's this pride that you have.
Shaw you.
Is that how you go? So what's the how do you make that happen? Because you know Fayetteville State, they say attitude check and Bronco pride. I always mix that up. How does Shaw do theirs?
There's one where they actually mixed the two words, Shaw and Wright.
So how's it go?
Shy.
Shy. Now I like that. Kenny, can you say shy?
Shy. only you got to do it with like a little shy.
Look,
Yeah, there you go, man.
Kenny, look, we're going to, you have to enroll now.
Get it now. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'll try.
Well, Sheila Cuffey, you have been involved. In case you have just joining us, I got Sheila Cuffey here along with Adolph Thomas. They are both members of the Fayetteville Shaw Alumni Association.
Yes.
And is it Fayetteville, Cumberland County, or just Fayetteville?
Fayetteville, Cumberland County.
Fayetteville, Cumberland County Shaw Alumni Association. And you've got a scholarship banquet that's going to be taking place June 6th. And we're encouraging folks to not only get involved in terms of making donations, but also learn a little history about Shaw and the impact that it's had on a number of folks. Sheila, there's some people who are just joining us right now who weren't here before the break, and you were naming an awful lot of folks who are in this area who are graduates of Shaw. Give us another rundown.
As I mentioned earlier, we have former Councilman Larry Wright. We have Command Sergeant Major retired Robert McRae and his daughter, Ms. Laura Hardy, who is the president of our chapter. She's with the Hardy Group. And who are a few others?
I'm trying to think of some more. I know there's some folks at my church that are fellow graduates that have not joined the committee yet, but we hope that we can get them to come in and join.
Well, part of the problem when you ask people to name folks is you're always going to leave somebody out.
Yeah, yes, right.
So if we left you out, no harm intended there. But we know there are an awful lot of folks here who are graduates of Shaw University who are still in this area who may not know, well, they should know about the banquet, but we want to make sure they do know.
My mother graduated in '84 from Shaw University. Miss Ellen came out.
Ellen McNeil.
Ellen McNeil came out at the same time. McNeil came out at the same time. She's matter of fact, she was a commissioner out in
Hope County.
Hope County.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure was.
So there are a lot of people. The late Reverend C.R. Edwards was one of the reasons that I went to Shaw initially in 1978.
Where was he pastor?
First Baptist
Yes.
on Moore Street.
Yes.
And he happened to be a state representative.
And was he there before Reverend Johnson?
Yes,
Yes,
most definitely before Reverend Johnson. Yes, sir. That's who I was born under. So yes, sir. So there are a number of people who have graduated from Shaw University or have had some affiliation, and so we challenge them, those who are around, to purchase your tickets for $50. Or they can get a table for $400 that seats 8. We have several packages for sponsorship, starting from bronze, where you can just get your name listed for $100. We have silver, gold, and platinum. And so this year we changed our platinum so that they get 2 pages in our digital book, 3 tables that are reserved just for them, and being mentioned throughout the event. So we hope that people, especially our corporate sponsors, will step up and support our students.
All right. Adolph, you look like you got something you want to interject here before we...
Yeah, of course. So now the team is starting to text in. And, of course, as we mentioned, Miss Ellen McNeil, she actually was the first African-American female commissioner at Hope County in their history. So we're making history.
All right. Well, look, we appreciate the two of you coming out here. And before you leave, we're going to put you back on the calendar as we get a little bit closer to remind folks that it's coming up, since we've got all of May and June as well before we have the event at the Fuller Recreational Center. What's the full name of that? Because that's a senior. It's Fuller Senior.
It's the John Fuller.
John Fuller.
Yeah.
John D. Fuller?
Yeah. John
Fuller Recreational Athletic Complex.
Yes, yeah, my memory is in sections. I remember the last name first, and then the first name last, and then the middle name on the end. But that's what happens when you get older. Okay, well, look, we look forward to the event, and we appreciate you coming in. And Adolph, let's look forward to hearing you play or sing over at the Retired Military Association.
Yeah,
Come on
May
up there.
3rd, yeah.
May 3rd is when you're going to have an event over there. We can bring you in and talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Well,
all
we're
right.
looking forward, hopefully, that he'll be a part of the entertainment on that day.
Oh.
So, look,
That just put on blast out here.
look, we don't want just a preacher. We also want some nice entertainment. So
Yeah.
there's going to be some good entertainment.
Well, look,
there
it's
as
better
well.
you than them asking me to DJ, right? I should donate my DJ services. Wiki.
Oh,
All
you're
right.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're
All right.
most welcome.
All right. Well, look, we appreciate you coming in again. Come on in. We got Kirk Deviere getting ready to kick you guys out. We're going to give you the boot. Bring Kirk Deviere in here.
All right.
All right. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got local news right now with CBS 17.
Good morning.
Good morning. From the CBS 17 newsroom, I'm Bill Young. The search is on for a murder suspect in Fayetteville. Police say Jordan Whipple shot and killed Tony Chance on Blue Street back in March. Whipple is now charged with first-degree murder. His family is asking for him to turn himself into police. If you have any information in the case, contact Fayetteville PD. New safety changes are coming